Hello students, today we will start our second unit of quantum mechanics, which is application of quantum mechanics, and in this unit we will study our first application, which is free particle in one dimensional box. It is very simple problem in quantum mechanics. In this problem we have two things, one is free particle and other is one dimensional box. Free particles means we have a particle in a quantum system which feels no force, that is the potential energy of that particle is zero inside the box, and we have considered its motion only along one dimension. As we know, in Cartesian coordinates we have three different coordinates x, y and z. There are three dimensions, but out of those three we consider only one dimension. That is, for example, in this case, suppose we consider motion along x-axis. So for this problem, the potential function can be described as like this. We can write Vx. V is a potential function and it is a function of x only. And this function is 0 when particle is in the box. Suppose we have a box of length L. This is our box at x is equal to 0 and this is at x is equal to L. So between this 0 to L the potential is 0. But at these two boundaries, at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to L, this potential jumps abruptly and it reaches to infinity, and it will remain infinity for the region x less than 0 and for the region x greater than L. But within this range between 0 and L the potential function is 0. So our particle is in this box, as it do not have potential energy, it only have kinetic energy and it can move along the x-axis only. These boundaries at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to L, these are also known as walls of the box, and these walls have some properties. And what are they? These walls has to be rigid, they has to be non-penetrable. That means particle which is inside this box, it cannot penetrate through these walls to these sides for x greater than L or x greater than 0. Means particle do not have energy to overcome this potential which is infinite at these boundaries. So mathematically we can represent this potential. It is 0 for the region x between 0 to L, and it is infinite everywhere else. Means outside this region potential function will be infinite, and this is how we can write this potential function. So in quantum mechanics, now we have a particle which is under this potential and we want to solve this problem. We want to know how this particle will behave within this system. So for that we need to solve time independent Schrödinger equation, which we already know. How we can write? The solution of this equation will give us the behavior of this particle within this box. So time independent Schrödinger equation. It is given by h psi is equal to E psi, where what is h? H is the Hamiltonian operator. What is psi? Psi is the wave function, and E is the energy eigenvalue corresponding to this Hamiltonian operator, and psi again is the wave function. We already discussed these Hamiltonian energy eigenvalues and wave function in our last unit. So I hope you are aware of this term. The Hamiltonian operator, it is given by, it is minus h cross square over 2m curly 2 over curly x square plus Vx. This is how we represent our Hamiltonian operator. It has two terms. First term belongs to kinetic energy operator and second term belongs to potential energy operator. So we can substitute the value of h in this equation, and then this equation will become minus h cross square over 2m curly 2 curly x square plus Vx psi is equal to E psi. Now, because we know the potential is infinite in these two regions for x greater than L and x less than 0, and our particle do not have energy to overcome this potential. That means the probability of finding the particle in these regions for x greater than L and for x less than 0 is negligible, or it is 0. Also, the walls of this box is, we have considered, they are non-penetrable, so particle cannot go to these regions. So therefore the wave function of the particle within these two regions for the x greater than L and for the x less than 0 has to be 0. So we no need to solve the equation because there is no probability of finding the particle, so there will be no wave function. So we only need to find the wave function within this region between 0 to L. So for that reason we will solve this Schrödinger equation. So for x between 0 and L, the potential function is 0. The value of the potential function is 0. Now substitute the value of this potential in this equation. What we will get? This will become minus h cross square over 2m curly 2 psi over curly x square. Vx is 0, so this term will become 0 equal to E psi. Further rearrange this equation. What we will get? This will become curly 2 psi over curly x square equals to minus 2me psi over h cross square. Or further rearrange these terms, the equation will become curly 2 psi over curly x square plus 2me by h cross square into psi is equal to 0. So this is our equation, and this we can see this is an second order differential equation, and we are familiar with this equation. Same sort of equation we have by h cross square psi is equal to 0. If we replace this term with some constant, say k square, which is 2m e by h cross square, then this equation will reduces to curly 2 psi over curly x square plus k square psi is equal to 0. This is an standard differential equation, second order differential equation, whose solution can be given by this. The psi will be of nature a into exponential iota kx plus b exponential minus iota kx, where a and b are arbitrary constant. So the solution of this equation can be written as like this. So this is our required wave function within the region x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L. But we have two boundaries. In our potential function we have seen how it was behaving. It was abruptly changing to infinity at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to L. So for any wave function to be a wave function, there are certain conditions. Wave function has to be continuous, it has to be single valued, and also it has to be square integrable. If any function obey all these conditions, only then we can call a function or a solution a wave function. So condition for any function, this also we have discussed in our first unit. For any function to be a wave function is it has to be finite, has to be continuous, and it has to be square integrable. If any mathematical function obey these three conditions, only then we can call that function to be a wave function. Okay, so first of all we will focus here on these two terms, finite and continuous. So wave function has to be finite at all values, and also it has to be continuous. So in this potential function, when our potential becomes infinite at x is equal to 0 and at x is equal to L, within this 0 to L we can say potential function exists. Particle will be in that domain only, 0 to L. As we move across L or 0 on the other side, the probability of finding the particle is 0. But at x is equal to 0 or at x is equal to L, at these two boundary, this function is changing abruptly. Within this 0 to L we have wave function, and beyond we do not have. But wave function has to be continuous even at this point also. So because of that, there are two boundaries at x is equal to 0 and at x is equal to L. So corresponding to these two boundaries, we have two boundary conditions. At these boundaries, wave function has to be continuous. Okay, wave function has to be continuous. That means, as we know, if we go just left to the 0, wave function is 0. So at x is equal to 0, psi x has to be 0. At x is equal to 0, psi x has to be 0. This is our first boundary condition. And at x is equal to L, psi L also has to be 0. So now we substitute these two conditions one by one in this equation, which is our solution. So when we substitute x is equal to 0, this equation will become, this equation we can write, this is a function of x, psi is a function of x, which is a exponential iota kx plus b exponential minus iota kx. So if we substitute x is equal to 0, this function will become psi 0, which is 0, equals to a exponential 0. When we substitute x is equal to 0, this term will become 0 and this will also become 0. Okay, so that means a plus b is equal to 0, or a is equal to minus b, or b is equal to minus a. This condition we will get. Okay. Now if we substitute second boundary condition, what we will have, second boundary condition means at x is equal to L, psi x, psi L has to be 0. So now this equation will become, this is psi L which is 0, and this will become a exponential plus iota kl plus b exponential minus iota kl. We just replace x by L, and from first boundary condition we also find out that a is equal to minus b or b is equal to minus a. If we replace that in this equation will become a exponential iota kl minus a exponential minus iota kl, or we can write a we can take outside, this will become exponential iota kl minus exponential minus iota kl is equal to 0. Okay. Now this equation will become 0, either a is 0 or this term is 0, exponential iota kl minus exponential minus iota kl. Okay, this will become 0, either a 0 or this 0, but we see this a cannot be 0, because if we take a is equal to 0, that means what, our psi was this a exponential iota kx and b was also minus a, so exponential minus iota kx. Okay, so if a becomes 0, that means this wave function again will become 0, and what we are calculating, we were calculating the wave function of the particle which is inside the box, and this we know our particle is in the box, particle जो है हमारा वो box के अंदर है. Okay, but wave function with this condition what we are calculating, it becomes 0, that means there is no particle within the box, neither inside nor outside. So because of that, this thing a cannot be 0. Okay, because if a becomes 0, that means there is no particle inside the box, which is not true. Okay, so a cannot be 0, that means this has to be 0, this term has to be 0. So if this term is 0, we can just rearrange this term. This is exponential iota kl minus exponential minus iota kl. Okay, what we do, divide this term by 2 iota and multiply this term by 2 iota. This will become 2 equals to 0. This we can do. We have multiplied with same term and divided by same term. This term, this whole thing will become this exponential function. This we can write. This will become equal to twice of iota sine kl. Okay. From Euler's function, which you remember, exponential iota theta is cos theta plus iota sin theta. Using this we can write this, and this is homework for you, you can cross check it. Okay, so this equation will become 0. Here again 2 iota, as you know is square root of -1, so this term cannot be 0, this is not 0, so that means this sin kl has to be 0. Okay, so sin kl has to be 0, and sin function will become 0 at what values, that we know kl is 0 only when sin is a function of n pi, integral multiple of n pi. So from this k will be n pi by l, or k square will be n square pi square l square. And what was this k? This k was our constant which we were defined as k square was 2me by h cross square. Okay, so now equate these two equations. What we will get from these two equations, what we have, 2me by h cross square is equal to n square pi square by l square, or we can calculate this energy eigenvalues E, which is n square pi square h cross square over 2m l square. Okay, these are the energy eigenvalues corresponding to the particle which is confined in this one dimensional box. So its energy eigenvalues, this is what we require. In classical mechanics, when we discuss any equation or we want to solve any problem, ultimately we want to find out how that particle behaves, what will be its path, what will be its energy or momentum. Those things we will calculate. Similarly, in quantum mechanics, same thing we want to calculate its wave function, which will tell us about the behavior of the particle, and then we want to calculate its energy. So in this case we have calculated the energy of this particle in a one dimensional box will be given by this, E is equal to n square pi square h square by 2ml square, where n is an integer and the value of n will vary from 1, 2, 3 and so on. Okay,